You can use subsystems to create modularity that hides details and simplifies the appearance of a model. You can use the Model Browser option in the View menu to navigate through the hierarchy of a model. You can create a subsystem by selecting a group of blocks and clicking on the Create Subsystem option from the right-click menu. This creates the subsystem block with the input and output ports. You can rename these ports to indicate the signals entering and leaving the system. Here, the velocity and displacement are the output signals, and the force disturbance is the input signal. Masking a subsystem allows you to change the appearance of a subsystem and add an interface to change the parameters used by the subsystem. You can mask a subsystem using the Mask Subsystem option from the right-click menu. This opens the mask editor where you can change the appearance of a subsystem, add a set of parameters that determine the behavior of the subsystem, add any initialization code, and provide documentation. Let us see how you can do this step by step. There are multiple ways of adding an icon to the subsystem as shown in the examples area. Here I'm going to add an image from a graphics file. You can see the appearance of the subsystem change here. Under the Parameters tab, you can add a set of parameters that define a particular instance of the subsystem. In this case, I'm adding the spring constant K, damping constant R, and mass M as parameters. Under the Documentation tab, you can add a short description of the block that appears on the block dialog interface and link to further documentation. Now, when I double click on the subsystem, I can see the mask dialog interface I just created where I can change the parameter values and look at the documentation for the block. You can now reuse this subsystem by simply making copies of it wherever you need. Once again, you can change the parameters associated with this instance of the subsystem in the mask dialog.